This is a short introduction to the Digital Transformation Planning Service provided in partnership by SOFTEL Communications. SOFTEL are a service integrator providing solutions, services, and enhancements across unified communications, contact centers, and customer experience. Our teams are skilled in multiple vendor technologies, which allows us to define and determine the best-in-class solutions from many different platforms and solutions which are available in the marketplace. We support virtually every business vertical who have a need to interact and communicate with or across a business communications platform. In this introduction, we'll briefly describe the core elements of digital transformation planning relating to customer experience or CX within contact centers, which includes the peripheral business, operational, and technical services that can be affected. In a nutshell, CX digital transformation is about providing the means to consolidate complex contact center environments and migrating them to cloud services. That works across the business, operations, platforms, and data warehousing, applying optimization, integration, automation, and other techniques in the cloud under a single revenue stream for billing consolidation. The DTPS package delivers the means to gather all of the necessary information to drive that transformation, specifically for contact centers. DTPS is defined as a series of professional service engagements to investigate and assess unified communications, contact center, and customer experience business operations through various industry methods. This leads to a strategy to deliver multiple projects and programs of migration and other processes. Investigations and assessments in the early stages provide an in-depth assessment report with options and recommendations for enhancements, automation, digital transformation, integration, cloud migration, digital security, and legacy retirements. This is presented to you for discussion and planning, with options to form a strategy or an approach for your digital transformation plan. Ultimately, DTPS drives subsequent projects and programs through an iterative life cycle of events. DTPS drives quite a few different benefits. Some of these are listed here, where it looks to assess and qualify existing business operations around customer experience, contact center, and unified communications channels and platforms, where it looks to address legacy issues with modernization techniques, to drive digital transformation through journey mapping, to converge multi-channel to omni-channel operations, to drive migrations to low-cost cloud alternatives, to address data privacy concerns with data security, to deliver cost-effective automation and enhancements. Ultimately, it's to drive ongoing workloads through recommendations, options, projects, programs, and work statements to cloud solutions and platforms. At a high level, DTPS is delivered in three distinct phases. Phase 1 is where we jointly conduct workshops to define the business, operational, technical, and other requirements, allowing us to size the opportunity and drive the subsequent phases. Phase 2 is where we return to conduct low-level data gathering through mapping, assessments, and other methods, allowing us to produce a fully formed DTPS assessment report containing recommendations, assessments, rationale, options, and alternatives for you to consider. Finally, through Phase 3, we jointly deliver solutions and other deliverables within and outside of our partnership using best-in-breed solutions and platforms through to a series of quality points and iterations through ongoing assessments. Within those phases, there are distinct deliverables and outcomes. Through Phase 1, We provide an assessment of current operations, including all of the areas listed here. These are quantified and qualified with all of your stakeholders before moving on to the second phase, where we take a much deeper dive into the business, operations, and technical areas, including low-level investigations for applications, software solutions, networks, IT processes, and a whole host of other factors. This allows us to build a full assessment report presented with recommendations and the rationale to support those recommendations for your consideration and discussion. Finally, we move to a third phase where strategic plans are put in place to begin the migration of services to a cloud structure, enhancing your operations as we move through. DTPS is delivered across a variable time frame. This is because every business is unique. Within Phase 1, we typically take up to 2 weeks to conduct workshops and understand the nature of your business, operations, and technical areas. This effectively drives the timelines through the investigations that we conduct at Phase 2, which, as an example for a medium-sized business, could be anything up to 6 weeks. After Phase 2, the planning and timelines are mapped out in projects and program cycles defined as the strategy evolves with you. To illustrate how this works across a business, we've built a couple of high-level case studies to bring things into perspective. In this first study, the DTPS cycle was applied to a government department of motor vehicles. It addressed the issues of having disjointed views of core volumes across technologies. It also addressed the need to combine services and teams with achievable SLA metrics. It also identified various older technology stacks and legacy applications and made recommendations for replacement technologies. All of this information was gathered from direct sources and also a series of previous audit recommendations that were presented by the customer. Each of these delivery streams was focused on the core needs of the business to reduce unacceptable wait times, reducing complexities, and unnecessary processing across many of their disparate entities. DTPS provided the customer with the drivers and the means to address each aspect individually, but also drove the delivery stream of each aspect under a single program of events. In this second case study, DTPS was applied across an assurance banking customer's platforms, where they presented a number of previous technical and operational audit studies for consideration. Through DTPS, we were able to determine that operational changes were being applied without due diligence and without a solid governance structure for quality assurance. These issues were compounded by the continued use of legacy systems and outdated processes which frequently required maintenance. DTPS also provided insights to the customer where manual processing and interventions were required to support service level processing. Again, each of these aspects were assessed and recommendations were presented to each business entity, driving a single program of events to address the business, operational, and technical conflicts through cloud solutions to multiple problem points. Thanks for your time in reviewing this overview of the DTPS program from SOFTEL Communications. If you have any questions relating to the program, please don't hesitate to reach out to our partners or directly with us.